Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I have a fun card for you, and it has a couple of little tips and tricks that you might not have done before. We're going to do some reverse stamping using the Stamparatus. I'm mostly over my cold, but my throat's still a little scratchy, so just bear with me. I'm not feeling quite as scattered as I was if you've watched a couple of my recent videos. I am feeling a bit better. It's just now mostly my throat. But I'm going to use the 9 lives, and I'm going to use the bundle. I'm going to use the cat punch, which has been out for a while. That came out like more than a year ago. We've had it around for a while. It came out in a Halloween little bundle. But I'm going to use the 9 lives, and if you watch my channel, you know that often my cats make an appearance. One of them sitting right here at my feet. She's not the one that hops up on the table as often, though. Some thread there. Branson is the one who often hops up on the table. He's in the other room asleep, so I don't think he's going to make an appearance in this video, although you never know, because you know cats, they are in charge. Actually, she's talking to me. What's wrong, babes? And so what I want to do, you know, if you have seen the cat punch, let me show you the stamp set again. You get, and if you've seen the stamp, obviously, or the card on the front of my YouTube thumbnail, but I want this stamp, and I want it twice, because I have 2 cats, and I don't want them to look like the same cat, so I want them to look like they're facing each other. So whenever you want to do a mirror image of a stamp, then here's how you do it. You get your Stamparatus, and then this is our silicone sheet that can be used for a whole lot of everything. And I have, because this is a photopolymer stamp, I'll show you what I have in my Stamparatus. I have the foam mat that comes with it, then I have the silicone sheet. So here's what I do when I do it. There's different ways you can do it. So I'm just gonna ink up my little stamp with black memento. And these just wipe off, and I will show you that at the end. You can see a couple from when I made the card, and I actually made it a couple of days ago. So the ink's been on there for a minute. So ink that up. And then when I go to stamp mine, I stamp it, I just lay a piece of paper to the back, so it's cut that full direction. That way if I mess up, and you know you want to do your Stamparatus again, it's on there. So you can stamp that way. So I have my front one because I don't have it on a block. So you can do that, but then here's also what you can do. If you want to do a 2-for-1, oops, now I've got black ink everywhere. But you know our plates clean up super well. So I'm going to ink that up. And then you stamp here. And the ink stays on your silicone mat. I have my magnet over here holding it down. And this time I'm going to put this one up here. Again, like this, so it's cut the same size as this. This is just a piece of Whisper White. And then I'm going to press hard here. And then this time when it lifts up, I have one on the front and one on the back. Obviously, this one's always going to be a little bit lighter, but he's a gray cat, so it's okay. And this one's a little bit darker. And the reason I do it that way is because if this one doesn't stamp well, then I have this one, because this one's always going to stamp well. But because you knew where you lined it up, you can go and try again if you want to get it a little darker, but that one's fine. So now I have 2, and now you can see they're going opposite ways. Then to clean it up, to clean your mat off, let me see if you can see it in the video. You can see all my little, hopefully, can you see a little kitty that's on there? All you need to do is take your chamois. There's this stuff from my other card. Tumbling down because I had it leaning up there. So this is just damp, how I keep it. And you literally just wipe it off. And it just comes right off. And I can wipe this stuff. You know, your chamois can be used for more than just cleaning your stamps. I'll go ahead and get this one off too from when I did it yesterday. The one thing that you don't want to do is if you're making several of these, actually that may be on the back side of this. If you're making a bunch, is don't keep re-inking and re-inking and re-inking, just because this can move a little bit, and over time it just gets a tiny bit smeary. So if you're going to do multiples of the card, after a few times, just go ahead and wipe it off, or switch your silicone mat around and use the different corners and then clean it off. Because the more times you do it, like if you do it 5 or 6 times, the silicone just moves a tiny bit, and after a while you'll just get it smeary. So here's another tip or trick. I want to make, we're not going to tell Sibby, that's my girl cat, because she's brown and gray, and that's just one more step for our card. So I'm just going to go with Branson because he's our gray cat, and he's got gray splotches. And this stamp set comes with some different little 2-step stamps. And you just ink it up. And again, always easier if I could put my head right over the top. This is Smoky Slate. So you can make tabby cats. There's a little, like a tiger cat, a tabby cat. You know, you could do different colors. And I could add some brown if I wanted it to be Sibby. And I could do the same thing. I could put this in my Stamparatus so I could get the background and flip this the other way. But that just seems like a lot of work, right? So I'm going to punch this one out, and I'll show you what I'm going to do instead, because I do want it to have gray spots, because Sibby has gray spots. She just doesn't have as many as Branson, and then she has a little bit of brown. So then to punch this, what you need is the punch on the other side. So I'm just going to stick this in here. Punch that out. So see, you needed that stamp on both sides of there to know where to punch. And then my little tip or trick for this is I'm going to lay this right here. And instead of trying to do anything with my Stamparatus, which would take a couple minutes and, you know, require some cleaning, I'm just going to grab my Smoky Slate blend with my brush tip. And I'm just going to give her some spots. So she'll look a little bit like the other one, and they'll kind of match. People think that our cats are siblings, but they're not. In fact, we got them from 2 different pounds. We got them at the same time. One came from, I know some of you follow me from Lafayette, and one of them came from the Humane Society in Lafayette, and one of them came from the Indianapolis Humane Society. We had cats that lived for 17, 18 years. And, you know, when you have cats that live that long, then eventually they don't live anymore. So once our cats passed away, then we got 2 new cats because we think they need to have a friend. So this is Light Petal Pink, and I'm just adding a little bit to their ears and to their noses. So now I have Branson and Sibby, and if it truly was Branson and Sibby, I would add some other colors, but for the purpose of art, it's good enough. So now you see I have reversed images, and you could always hand draw your things on there, but it's much faster to stamp them. So if you have the stamps, just go ahead and stamp. The only reason I did it with the blend that way is just to save time because it was a mirror image. So there's my the little cats. Now I'm going to do my background, and this stamp set comes with some fun background images, and I want you to see it again because often, and I didn't do it with this stamp set, but often what I like to do is when I get a stamp set, here's another tip or trick, take the main image away. And I know if you watched my Incredible Like You video, that's one of the things, if you take the biggest image out of a stamp set, often it opens your eyes up to a lot of other possibilities with the stamp set, because when you see this, obviously you think cat cards. And if you work at a Humane Society or a vet's office or some kind of animal rescue, this would be great for thank you cards, for fundraisers. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. But there's also a tiny little mouse. There's this cute little fish, but it could also be like a Pepperidge Farm thing. It would be cute for, my niece works out in the ocean doing stuff with oysters in Connecticut. So there's a lot of different things. There's yarn. So if you know somebody who loves knitting, there's a lot of different things that you could do. This little bow could be put on a bunch of different things. So we're going to use some of these small things now to make a background on our cat card. But I just want you to see the other potentials that you could do with this. So I have Old Olive, and it's also 2-step, which is fun. So I'm going to do the background of the yarn in Old Olive, and it's a cute little yarn because it's spins up into a heart. And a lot of this is going to get covered up, so it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I'm going kind of for a like a graphic art kind of look for it, so I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to kind of look like it's an old art background here. So I'm just randomly stamping the olive first. And then I'm going to flip this around and get my memento back with the black. And then it has an outline of the actual yarn with the heart. And this just 2 steps right over the top of it. Again, easier if my head was over the top. So this is going to be a little bit more artsy than my first one. But it doesn't have to be perfect. It should be fun. So don't stress about your stuff being perfect. Have fun with it. This card would be super fun if you have a friend who loves cats, because it celebrates friendship. The saying in it. I'm at that stage in my life where actually it was a few years ago where, you know, nobody tells you when you are a young parent and you're all getting pets for your kids that at the same time all of your pets are going to die. And it's just a sad fact of life. You don't think about it when you're young and you're all getting the pets, that your kids are all going to leave home and then your pets are all going to die. So that's kind of where some of us have been recently. So I never even thought that pet sympathy cards were a thing. But when you lose somebody that's been in your house and part of your family for such a long time. Now this is the little mouse that comes with it. And it on its own, it's about as adorable as any little stamp could be. I didn't use the bowl. I didn't use the fish. I didn't use the bow, because if I put bows on my cats, they would not be happy. Well, Sibby would probably let me. Our cats are named Branson and Sybil. If you watch Downton Abbey, that's where they're named from. She would probably let me do it, but she would have the look like, why are you subjecting me to this? There is a cat bowl in the set, and I, of course, have all Rae Dunn cat bowls. So I did think about using the cat bowl, but then there's a little fill-in. I'm going to go back to the smoky slate to fill in the little mouse body. And I know these are so super tiny that it's hard for you to see, and I apologize, but you know, I can only zoom in enough that we don't lose the whole video, because I don't have super editing software and I do this on my phone. So it's the best I can get to get the whole video in. It has to stay. Maybe at some point in my future, do Facebook Lives with some of my friends who have also been Stampin' Up! Demonstrators for, I've been 25 years. They've been a little less than me, but not by much. And we do have a new thing that we are going to try, because if you are a demonstrator, we do Facebook Lives once a week for other demonstrators as kind of an online demonstrator meeting. But we have a new thing that we're going to try soon. So we'll see how that goes. Now this is back to the light petal pink, and I'm not going to color, I'm just dabbing in the ears. Again, I'm going more for a graphic kind of arts look, not a perfect thing. And then the one last little thing that comes with this is some little fill-in hearts. So this time I'm going to, again, do the black first. And they're just going to kind of be random, kind of wherever they will fit. Excuse me. Again, my cats will fill up a lot of this card. And I know some of you have commented that I've been stamping on my table recently. And I have been, because it's spring. And there is a video on how I did my table, because it's an antique table. And it was a work table in its former life, and it was brown, and these lines are cut into it. My husband cut them in with a table saw, and painted white. And so you can see, I don't know, maybe you won't be able to see, but all this right here, like it's painted white, and every time I clean it, some of the paint comes off, but it's spring, and so I'm getting ready to repaint the table as soon as we can have the windows open. So I'm being a little less careful. There's a lot of, like someplace on here, it actually says birthday because I dropped a stamp. But you know, it's a work table, and it won't ever be all the way white because I don't want it to be all the way white. And then this is Blushing Bride, and I'm just filling in the hearts. This stamp set it's actually a ton of fun. It would be if you have kids that like to stamp with you while you stamp, this would be a great stamp set to have in your collection. This and the dog one. You can see I just got on the table there too. And there. Most of it will wipe up, but sometimes there's the random color that does not wipe up. I think I got them all. So there's the background here. And I am going to run that through a big shot just for a little bit of texture. I need one more piece of the giant stack of vanilla and white over here, but I need a small piece of vanilla for my saying, and that's white. I want my saying to be, I may have to use a bigger piece than what I want to use. I thought I had all my pieces here, but apparently I have. It was dark when I did I'll just use a big one. It was dark when I laid my stuff here, and I thought that my small piece was vanilla, and it's white. There is a saying, there's several sayings in the set, and I'm using the one that says, "A friend like you comes around once in 9 lives." So I'm gonna stamp that. And I'm still using a few celebration things, and this is actually a celebration coordination punch. But rumor has it that it may make an appearance in a future publication, which is what they like to tell us when they don't really let us know. So this is the storybook label, and it would work with other punches as well. But this is free right now. Not free. This is part of this celebration coordination, and it cuts out several of the words in the celebration set. And then I'm going to get to my Blushing Bride again. And then right where it says once, I'm going to add some hearts right over the top of that just for a little bit of background color. Then I'm going to pop my big shot up here. This card I also did on a Facebook Live. So if you have a Facebook and you want to watch me, if you don't follow me on Facebook, it's Cheri's Cards. And you spell my name C-H-E-R-I. So when you watch on Facebook Live when I do these things, if you have questions, then you can get a live answer, or if you don't watch the live version. This is the Subtle Embossing folder. And I just wanted a little bit of texture on the bottom, so my background didn't look like my cat's. Because I wanted the cats to look a little bit different than the background. And you know, this, if you don't have this folder, you have to get it, because every piece of paper, like I could run almost everything through here. It just makes your paper look expensive. Like you take your cardstock and you run it through there, and it looks like you used cardstock that you paid twice as much money for as what you actually did. Then this is vanilla cardstock that I cut long ways, and I don't know why I did that. Oh, I do know actually why I did it, because now it's coming back to me. Originally I thought about, you know, if you've seen the swinging cards, because when you have one of these, you can mount these together, and I was going to put it in a circle. In fact, I still have the Big Shot die. So I was going to have a circle and let this spin around, but then I changed my mind. So that's why it's cut long ways. Sometimes at camp they ask me why I did it, and sometimes it's just left from something before. Then one last little touch. This is the olive linen thread, and it is from the Occasions catalog, and it comes from the Needlepoint suite. And it's just a perfect little addition to go with our ball of yarn. If you come to camp, this will not be a camp card. So if you love it, you need to get the stamp set and make it yourself, because it's not one that we will make at camp. If you are watching this and you do own a cat shelter, a dog shelter, any kind of animal rescue, you work at a vet's office, I would love to help you put together a fundraiser or a way that you could use these to make thank you cards for your business, or any way to help you, because it's such a perfect set. And I know when we've had, you know, our animals had to be, well, there isn't even a nice way to say it, when our animals had to no longer live on this earth, we got a nice card from our vet. So if you work at a vet's office and you do send cards, a hand-stamped card would be a lovely thing to send somebody after they have to have such a difficult thing happen. So here's the background. And then I'm just going to take the saying and put it in the middle. And then my cat's tails barely fit on here. I will tell you that. And take some dimensionals. This sheet's almost gone. This is what, for some reason when I wasn't feeling well, the dimensionals just gave me fits. And it was the tiny ones. So you can see how nice the it is to have the cats that just face off from each other. And you could, if you're going to put this in an envelope, you can squish them together so they will both be like their tails are on the card, but I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. Here's the one I made before. And this one, I tried it with the thing being a little bit smaller, but the background was so darn cute that I decided I'm just going to make it all the way big, because I wanted their tails to kind of be off the background. But I just love, 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 love that background. So I hope you enjoyed this card. I hope that if you've never tried the Stamparatus and reversing stuff, it's not just the cats. You can do it if you're trying to do a bouquet of flowers. If you have some of the people in the stamp sets, there's a lot of things that you can use it for. So give that a try if you have your Stamparatus. If you don't have a Stamparatus and you're still thinking, do I need one? Celebration's a great time to get it, because it's right at that $50 price point. So when you get it, you could get the free Celebration stamp set that's designed to go with the Stamparatus. So have a great day. I will see you back here later. Bye.